Hey, listen to Wrestling Up on FreeFM, ArrowFM, and NPR. As always, I'm Grady, and live on Skype we got Josh.
Hey.
We got Bad Blood coming up this weekend. We just had NXT's first show on the CW, and quite a banger Raw as well. So let's just start with Bad Blood, make sure we get time for everything. First match on the card, Women's World Championship. Rhea Ripley getting another shot against Liv Morgan. This time, though, Dominic Mysterio will be suspended above the ring in a shark cage.
Not exactly the cell we were expecting.
No, we'd been talking
um,
for weeks, so we were like, that makes sense. Put them in a cell. Well, someone's in a cell. It's just a smaller one and above the ring.
yeah. Uh, I still. This is interesting because I could easily see Rhea Ripley winning this match. There, uh, uh, not a doubt in my mind that she could walk out with the title. There's still legs with Liv and Dom. I think we see the old something gets dropped from the shark cage and is used to help Liv retain. That we've seen multiple times in the past when this stipulation has been used.
Yeah, it's a weird one because I thought the trio of matches was gonna be their previous clash, then the tag team match with Priest, and then this was gonna be the sort of blow off. You let Rhea Ripley get the title, and we move on. But Dom in a shark cage doesn't really feel like big conclusion to feud kind of matchup.
Now, I think we might actually be looking at maybe a little bit of a longer feud than we were expecting. I think this could also be added to War Games. I know we have an event in between here
Mhm.
that perhaps maybe we'll have another match between them. Although with the state of the world, that event may not happen. I don't know. Um, but I could easily see these two ladies captaining War Games teams for the ladies,
Sure.
centering the ladies around them. And it maybe if there's a pay-per-view between there and the Royal Rumble, maybe that's where the blow-off happens. If there's not, then it'd be the Royal Rumble. Um, but I think this is the feud that we're going to be looking at going into the Netflix era of Raw.
Yeah, it felt like maybe they were gonna like wrap it up, but as you say, all signs do point to this going for another 2, 3 months down the line. I would be interested to see how War Games pulls off. It doesn't seem like Liv Morgan or Rhea Ripley have a whole lot of uh, female backup at the moment. I'm sure you can very easily form a heel team and a face team and pull it off, but right now it does seem like most of their backup is a Dominic or a Priest or Finn Balor or the rest of the Judgment Day. So I would be interested to see how we do get to that build. There's also a chance that we're all just completely wrong. Rhea picks up the title or Liv retains, and we just end it here. I don't think it is a likely outcome, but it's definitely one they could pull off to. I don't really know where the champion would go from there. Whereas, continuing the feud, we're set up a lot more for doing a bit more and a bit more and a bit more down the way.
I don't think it would be that hard to get people to join Liv's team.
Mm.
Um, there are a lot of people that Rhea really pissed off during her Judgment Day run with the championship, and are still heels. Um, that I could easily see joining Liv. Um, I think it'd be harder to envision the team that she's able to put together. Um, so, but yeah, it's interesting. As you said, it could very much end. And I said, I I think it's 50-50. either Rio wins this and the stipulation is pointless, um, or Liv retains and we keep the beat going.
Yeah, it definitely does feel like if Rhea wins, we are kind of done. Because it is all about that chase at the moment. There's still, storyline with Dom and with Liv and stuff that you can do afterwards, but um, in terms of the championship, I feel like we would be more finished. And then if we take one step into the next match at Bad Blood, there are a couple other people in that feud that had some bad blood between them, and they will also be facing off Finn Balor and Damian Priest.
Yeah, I really don't know, honestly. Considering I thought for certain that uh, Liv and Dom were going to win the last match, and then it ended up being Priest and Rhea winning. Anything is uh, possible here, but if you held a gun to my head, I'd probably pick Balor.
It is an interesting one, as you say. Like Priest does appear to be on the rise, picked up the win in the tag match, and Finn Balor uh, can't really get a win under his belt if his life depended on it. And so I think for me, it all comes down to what direction they want the Judgment Day to go in. If you do have Damian Priest go over here, you need to separate the two. You need to just have Priest exercise his demons, defeat Finn Balor, move on, and go find themselves a different feud. If you have Finn Balor going over, most likely it's going to be because of interference from the rest of the Judgment Day. But maybe there's a little bit more fuel to the fire there. And almost similarly to the Women's World Championship. But I don't know if I can just put faith in Finn Balor. He seems to not be able to capture the W when he needs to recently, unless this is going to be a bit of a restart for him.
Yeah, unless it involves a tag team match.
True.
Yeah, I think you pretty much talked me into it. I think I'm switching to Priest. I just don't. I don't know. It's one of those cases where it's just I don't know what their plan is.
Yeah, and we can sit here and we can philosophize. I don't know if that's the right word about it, but it does feel like they've got their coins behind Priest, and so I'm a put mine behind him as well. Priest all the way. And then something that we actually did get in the cell, CM Punk, Drew McIntyre. These two making it even more personal on Raw, just continuing to heat up the feud. This got to be the big closer for them, right?
Yeah, this is what the sale was made to do. The blow up of a major blood feud, and I've enjoyed every step of the way since the unfortunate injury that they turned into a storyline and they have carried it all year long, 10 months, 6 of which they'd had them not fighting, actually fighting. Um, I think they've done an amazing job with this story. I think at the end, though, I think it's got to be Punk goes over. Uh, I could see it maybe being where Punk barely wins, and maybe Drew kicks his head off after the match, but they both are like beaten and bloodied and battered, but I think Punk wins here. I think Punk is probably in the cards for the World Heavyweight Championship after Sami Zayn.
Yeah, and I think that is really where this all shakes up and this all lines up, right? We've uh, seen some things in the stars. We've seen potential feuds for the title, as you say, potential feuds for Drew McIntyre after this one. And it just all sort of lines up and makes more sense. They wanted CM Punk um, going for the title at the time. couldn't get it. Now it seems like, you play out this big Drew McIntyre feud. You have him come off that, and you head into the Gunther stuff after Sammy gets his lovely little shot. It all just sort of lines up. If Drew McIntyre comes out of here with the win, maybe it's a little bit harder for. I guess Punk can always just insert himself into the championship scene. But then I'd be looking around and going, all right, is it Drew that's going after Gunther? Which of course would be a banger between the two, but out of the two competitors in this match, wouldn't be my preference for the title shot.
Yeah, and again, it's all about. I think it's all in this case. It's all about alignments.
Mhm.
Regardless of how you feel about the overall story and what their way they've been portrayed, Punk is technically the face of this feud, and Punk would be a face against Gunther, whereas Drew is very much a heel, even if he is matter of fact about it. But it would be it would be a case of it's a heel versus a stronger heel. In if he was to chase Gunther, and so I don't think that's where they want to go. So I do think it's Punk wins, and then we'll see how he's feeling on Monday morning, and then we go from there.
And there was one other man that we thought might play a part with history with both of them, including their clash at SummerSlam, Seth Rollins, who has just entered himself back on the scene. And yes, this is my convenient segue to talk about the last Monster Standing match on Raw. It was Bronson Reed versus Braun Strowman. They tore the house down, literally, ending with Seth Rollins capturing his revenge on Bronson Reed.
Yeah. That was a fun fight. And I am looking forward to Bronson Reed versus Seth Rollins. I think that'll be a fun match, and it'll be interesting in seeing how they work the smaller Seth versus the bigger Bronson, and how well they can elevate him using that match.
That is what it is all about, right? It's Seth is a guaranteed star at all times at this point. Bronson Reed is the guy you were trying to build up. I was harping last week on the fact that he should probably go over Braun Strowman in this last Monster Standing match. They at least gave it a logical reason for why he didn't at the end. But now I look ahead at a Seth Rollins feud, and I don't really want him coming out on the losing end of that one either. And so now it's like, do or die. You kind of got to commit to Bronson, or you kind of got to not.
I honestly think they're setting him up for maybe a Money in the Bank run next year.
It's possible. No one would want to get in his way.
Sure.
And yeah, I would be happy to see that. I know it's a little bit delayed gratification in terms of being down the line, but it's still, slow build. You got to bring them up into that upper echelon. I think we've been doing amazing with it in the last few months, but he could definitely be a mainstay up there. WWE Women's Championship, Nia Jax will be defending against Bayley, who defeated Naomi last week, or this week, sorry, to confirm the number one contendership for the title.
Yeah. It is what it is. I think a triple threat would have been better, but they gave us a singles as the surprises. I think Nia retains, but I don't think she's leaving the event with the title. I think it'll be Tiffy time after that.
Yeah, I think we said that it could definitely be Tiffy time on the triple threat, and it made a whole lot of sense. And now when we just got Bayley and Nia, I'll have to see how it all works out. But they're hinting so heavily at it that surely that is the route that they're gonna go.
Yeah. If I could also see it easily being maybe Bayley somehow wins the title back. Nia goes berserk, destroys the the newly crowned champion, who then gets cashed in on by Tiffy. So you have a couple weeks where Tiffy is still a heel because of the way she won the title, but then maybe she like obviously Nia would declare that she would be the number one contender against Tiffy, and that would be the element that gets her as a face.
We'll have to see how it all shakes out because I think from the number one contenders match as well, Naomi is looking a little suspicious. I don't know if she's going to play a factor into this match, but maybe that is what we end up seeing. I don't know. So many different elements, but I'm with you. I don't think Bailey or Nia are going to be walking out with this title over their shoulders. And that's a little bit over halfway, but about time that we're going to go into our theme of the week. It is the theme for the pay per view, as we usually do on the pay per view preview show. So here is Bad Blood's theme. Wrestling up on FreeFM, ArrowFM, and MP. I'm Grady, he's Josh, and we got one match left on the Bad Blood card. It is Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns. Can they coexist against Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu?
Honestly, I have major questions about this match, to be honest. I know if I was booking it, I would have Cody and Roman lose. Because again, it's the build towards that War Games match. But with everything that I have seen since Roman's returned, short of the one time they beat the living crap out of him, it has been Roman and or Cody and getting over on the bloodline week in, week out. So I could easily see Cody and Roman winning here, and then maybe they get beat down afterwards. But I want the bloodline to win because I think it is more important to the story for them to realize they can't do it on their own.
Yeah, and I think there's also, we keep saying it with this new bloodline with Solo at the front, that it has to pick up some wins. You can't just constantly have them losing left, right, and center. And I know it's against, your biggest two stars, Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns. But, Solo did just lose two title matches against Cody Rhodes. And so if the bloodline can't even cheat their way into a win here, 2v4, things are looking a little bit grim for them, right? You've got Sikoa, Fatu, Tamatonga, Tongaloa. You've got at least four guys here who can surely help sort of just pile on top of Rhodes and Reigns and come out with the victory. It's sort of a taste of your own medicine for Roman Reigns. And I think you're right, because we'd been talking about this War Games match being, old bloodline, new bloodline. But the story that we're sort of telling now is Cody Rhodes teaming up with Roman Reigns, and then on the side, Kevin Owens getting some sort of animosity towards Cody Rhodes. Why are you teaming up with the guy who put us through HE double hockey sticks? You got Randy Orton trying to play sort of peacemaker between those two. I'm counting four people right there.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about how they want to do this. Maybe, again, it may be something that they may not want to do the new bloodline versus old bloodline this year. They may want to put that on the back burner until next year and truly build to it. But it's all about question marks. I'm going to go with the bloodline winning here, just because I think they need it more. It fits the story better, and it does, in truly, indeed, build towards something bigger. Plus, I want to see Roman Reigns without a title having to go to Jay, who has a title. I want to see that interaction.
Yeah, I think the story flows a whole lot better if the bloodline come out on top. And yeah, it just makes more sense. Please do it. If Rhodes and Reigns come out on top here, I don't really know um, what you can do with the bloodline. It doesn't even matter that they're holding tag titles at that point. Um,
Yeah.
it's going to take some
If
serious work to build them.
yeah, if they lose, it's almost certain that they are going to. I think Solo gets kicked out of his own group,
Mhm.
and Jacob Fatu takes over fully. Um, because I think that would be where they would go with the friction between them, because Solo would have failed multiple times as the tribal chief.
And maybe that's the story they want to tell.
Maybe. And then Solo has to, with his tail between his legs, go back to Roman. And maybe we do get original bloodline versus new bloodline, but in a different form that we thought we were going to get.
Yeah, maybe that happens all the way before Survivor Series. Maybe that is our slow build, for the next 12 months to where we're going down the line. We just don't know how it's all going to shake out. But that is Bad Blood. I do want to jump over before we run out of time. We've only got about 4 or 5 minutes left and talk a little bit about NXT's debut on the CW. We got new logo, we got new colors, new title belts, and the opening match saw Roxanne Perez versus Julia. We get the return of Cora Jade. We get the screwing over of Julia. And I guess that means Roxanne Perez has Stephanie to look forward to in the future.
Yep. And it was it's being they have this like list of people ready to come in. Um, but yeah, I guess that would be something they could do is maybe have Stephanie be the one to conquer Roxanne. Um, this it's also more interesting in seeing what they do with Cora now. Obviously, she helped Roxanne retain, so Julie feuding with Julia for a while, um, or what? I think that's a wild card in this whole thing.
Yeah, we saw a backstage segment between the two where I think they acknowledged that they had an enemy in common. They were wearing, matching colors and gear and everything, but hey, I'm going to look past them. I'm going to look at the storyline. I don't know if they're going to be paired up or if this was just a way to set up Roxanne v Stephanie and Julia v Cora. Um, Maybe the stories will intermingle. We'll have to see how it all sort of shakes out as we go down the way. But with the history that Roxanne and Cora have, I wouldn't be too shocked if they do end up getting tangled back with each other.
For all we know, it may be Cora Jade biding her time, pretending that she's being all buddy buddy with Roxanne, before inevitably pulling the rug under her, and uh, she's the one that beats Roxanne Perez.
Who knows, right? We've got this whole NXT women's main event division. Roxanne, Cora, Julia, Stephanie, and we also get a vignette on the show this week to highlight that Australia's Delta is also coming. If I recall what I read quickly, the dates on the vignette lined up to NXT's Halloween Havoc, and yet again that NXT women's roster develops, gains another massive member, literally and figuratively, and we sort of expand who could take this title off of Roxanne, who is going to be the person to climb to the mountain first. And then main event time. Trick Williams, Ethan Page, NXT Championship, CM Punk as special guest referee, and it's time to whoop that trick again.
Yep. Yep. Um, Trick Williams is now a two-time NXT champion, which means he joins a special group of performers that have held that title more than once. Because there aren't that many that have done it. Because usually once you lose, you're on your way to the main roster.
Yeah.
Clearly they have more story to tell with him. I'm interested in seeing where they go with Ethan Page from here. But the fact is that his lone title reign, even if it was only a couple months, better than anything he did in AEW. And is probably going to be something that a lot of people that are their contracts are coming up might be noticing. So I'm interested. I love Trick Williams. I think he's phenomenally talented. And I'm ready to see who he feuds with after this. And who knows?
And I think that has pretty much run us to time, so that is all we've got time for. It's been great talking to you.
Baby.
You can visit our Facebook page, facebook.com/wrestling R&D upper, our Twitter page, twitter.com/wrestling R&D upper, our YouTube page, youtube.com/wrestling RND up, and we will catch you next week.